Okay, this granny square is called the Kaleidoscope because I did it in these bright purples and raspberries and more of a chartreuse green. Well, I didn't have those colors, so instead I made mine in the bright reds, royal blues, yellows, and this orange. Now the yellow I used is still the red heart. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger, and when I did this, it really puffed it out because the red heart yarn is so much thicker than the Encore. But I really like that bright yellow, so I wanted to use it in this. We're going to show how this one is done. At one point, I'll stop it like here, and you'll see if I finish it at this junction there, then your square is only going to be just a hair under 5 inches. If I take it all the way, it's 6 inches. So it depends on what size of square you want. You can stop it with after the first border, or you can do all 3 borders, or if you want, you can do a 4th border in the blue and make it even bigger. It's entirely up to you. It is your design. Let's go ahead and get started. Our first color is orange, and I'm getting low, but I should be able to finish up this one with the orange. Okay, we start with round 1. We chain 6. Now they say use A, B, C, and D. They only used A, B, and C because the purple is A, the green was B, this magenta was C. Then it goes back to green, magenta, and purple. So they really didn't use the D. I chose to put a D in here. I did A, B, C, and I used the royal blue so I could have a D. So you can see what it looks like by putting all 4 colors in versus just the 3. You can do it either way. You can just repeat. You can do like orange, red, orange, red, orange, red if you like. Or you can do orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, red. You know, it's entirely up to you how you want to put it together. It's whatever colors of yarn look best to you when you join them. So there's no really wrong way. So let's start chain 6 and join with a slip stitch, which we've done many, many times. But this one is clusters. This is not your standard, where's that baby one? Here it is. It's not your standard 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Instead, we're doing what's called a cluster. And if you look here, you can see they're kind of clumped together a little bit. They're not spread apart. Let me put this right up next to it. Maybe it'll make it a little easier to see the difference between a cluster. This is a good one. See the difference between 3 double crochets and the cluster? Let me bring this up a little bit bigger and you can really see it. Maybe the yellow would show up better. See how the top of the yellow, all 3 of the top stitches are joined together as one stitch, where here each top is individual. I'll show you how that's done. Let me get back to where we were at. Okay, so we're going to start with chain 6. This is a long video, so we're going to cut it every now and then and finish going around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, make 6. Slip stitch. I said this is all normal, what we've done in the past many, many times. Then it says with color A, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which counts as a double crochet in a chain 1. That's right here. Now we're going to do 1 double, chain 1, 7 times. So altogether you're going to have 8. So if you count this chain 1, the chain 4 is here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your first one. So we got to do 7 more double crochets. Okay, there's 1. Whoops. Chain 1, 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1, 5, and you see how I'm bringing the thread through it so I don't have to weave it in later. It's being woven in as I'm doing my crochets. That's 6. Chain 1 and number 7. And then it's chain 1 and you slip stitch into the top of your chain 3, or the 3rd chain of it, because the 4th chain is considered an actual chain stitch. So you got to slip it through. And I see, does it say to finish it off? Join with a slip stitch. Okay, you don't have to. So you just you got to go into the center between these two, I believe. So let me, yeah, because you want to do your next set of double crochets wherever your chain one space is. So you slip in. I like to slip in and come up. That way I'm in the middle. It looks nicer. I'll enlarge and do it again for you. I don't like to start right here on the edge of this double crochet because all the others are inside, as you can see here. Right here you can see they're inside. So if I do a slip stitch inside and pull it up, then I do my first chain. You can see I'm in between the stitches instead of right on the edge. So that would be chain 3. So I've done 2 of them, and it says this chain 3 counts as your double. Let me get the tail off. Okay, and throughout. So 1 double in the next chain 1 space, chain 2. Okay, right here. Oh no, it's actually the same one, because if you look, there's 2 in each one. Oh, right here, there's 2 in this one, 2 in this one, and there's 2 in here. You can't really see it because they just came right off of the chain. Then they did 1 inside. I did the slip stitch, that way both of mine are inside like all the rest. Personal preference, you can do it either way. And it says chain 2. Go to your next chain 1 space. Do 2 double crochets side by side, chain 2, 2 double crochets, in the same space, and then we do 2 chains. The reason we did 1 in the first round is we didn't need to have the circle as big. Now we have to do 2 in the second round because we have to make it a bigger ring. So when you make a bigger ring, you need more stitches. And now the next one we do, there'll be a chain 3 because we'll need that extra chain into each one to be able to go around and keep it nice and flared out. Unless the pattern says something different. But each pattern is different, each designer is different. And usually the first time I make something, I try to follow them exactly. And then if I decide there's something about it that I really don't care for, then at that point is when I change. Oh, you're supposed to have changed to the other color, and I didn't do that. So let me go back. I thought something was a little fishy because it didn't say to finish off, but you stop. Oh no, I was right. Sorry about that. Got to go around the next round. Let me put it all back. I'm not paying attention like I should. Guess I'm thinking too much about dinner. Okay, it won't take long to go back around. This is still such a short round. So there's 16 stitches in this round instead of 8. So it just takes me a little bit longer to go back. You could change it if you want. If you don't want to have orange for 2 rounds, you could change it and have 1 round of orange and 1 round of blue or 1 round of red. It's your design. You can change it up any way you like. They decided to do 2 rounds in the orange. That way they didn't have to finish off the first round until they got to a bigger section where there was more stitches that you could weave into. So I still got 1, 2 to go. Just about done. 2 more stitches and 2 more chains, and then I can slip stitch and fasten off. There we go, chain 2. Now we'll do a slip stitch in the 3rd chain from the hook, or from the bottom I should say, slip stitch. I always do a chain 1, then trim it. There. And since the first one was woven in and we trimmed it off, we don't have that one tail, but we still have this tail to weave in. So let me grab a needle. I'm on the back side because, you know, there's the front. Go into the first stitch, or actually the second stitch, go all the way down. Pull it, but don't pull it super tight because you don't want to cause it to look a little shorter. And then I like to go through and back up again and trim it off. So I have a nice, neat circle. All right, now the next color, I chose the next color is yellow. You can do whatever color you like. Let me get my bright yellow. So that would be round 3. With the right side facing, join color B into any one chain 1 space. I don't know why they're saying chain 1 because it's a chain 2. I think that's probably a typo because that would be round 1, round 2. So we're doing round 3. Oh, maybe that's what it is, round 3. Yeah, it says any chain 1 space. Here they're saying chain 2. So I just think that might be a typo. That really should say in a chain 2 space. But that's all right. Start your work. I need to make a little bit bigger tail because I want to have a little bit to be able to weave it in. There, so I got a nice long tail. We're going to do a beginning cluster, and up here it tells you how to do a beginning cluster. It is chain 3, yarn over, insert hook, in stitch or space, yarn over, draw up loop, yarn over, draw up loop. So you have 2 loops and you do this twice, and then you do a yarn over and draw through all 3 loops. So let me get this done. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now yarn over, pull it up, go through 2. Yarn over, pull it up, go through 2. So you got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through all 3. Then you do a chain 2. Is it chain 2? Yeah, chain 2 right there. And then you want to do another cluster in the same space, and it'll tell you to do that. Chain 2 cluster, chain 2 cluster, chain 2, in each chain 1 space around. But as you can see, it's actually a chain 2 space. So I did the chain 2. Now I'm going to do another cluster, yarn over, go through the 2, yarn over, pull it up, go through 2, yarn over, pull it up, go through 2. So now you have 4 on your hook, which is correct when you're doing a full cluster. The last one was a beginning cluster. So then you do the same thing. Hold your last loop up. Hold your last loop up. Hold your last loop up, yarn over, go through all 4, chain 2. Do another cluster in the same spot. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through all 4, chain 2. So now we got 2 sets of clusters made. We have to finish out and do them all throughout the rest of them. Let's do a couple more. So there's 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go through all 4, chain 2. Now we do the other cluster in the same spot. 1, 2, 3. Then we go through all 4, chain 2. We do the next one, same thing. 1, 2, 3. Pull it through. Then chain 2, 1, 2. Do another cluster. 1, 2, 3. I'll go ahead and pause the camera right now and finish this off, and then I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm ready to start the last cluster. And it's the same as it has been. There's 1, 2, 3. So you got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through all 4, chain 2. So we're going to do our double crochets, but not doing the whole double crochet, just like we've been doing. 1, 2, 3. Then we chain 2, and we're back to the beginning. So slip stitch into the 3rd chain, of your beginning. Do a chain that kind of holds it in place, and you pull it tight. Okay, so you can see you've got 2 sets of clusters in every space. Let's go ahead and finish this off. And grab my needle. This yellow is so thick. Okay, so there's the front. Turn it over. Go through your second stitch. And then I go across and go up into your last stitch. You don't have to go into the last stitch. I like to. It just gives me a little bit more security. And now we do the last one. Or I should say the second one. We have several more to do. Go through your bottom loops and then up through your stitch. So now it's secure. Trim our tails. Put the yellow over here because we're going to need it again. Our next color I chose is red. You can choose whatever color you like. Let me grab the red here. Now this would be round 3. Wait, no, that's not it. It's round 4 because that was color B. Round 4 is color C. And this is C because that's A, B, and C. And it says, with the right side facing, join C into the first chain 2 space of the beginning cluster. Oh, and then do a beginning cluster, chain 3 beginning cluster. So we're doing one right here. And there you can see it's got the chain 3. So we'll go in, leave a nice sized tail so we can weave. That's a little bigger than I need. There, that's better. Do 2 more chains. This is your beginning cluster again. So you start with 3 chains, then you do your yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and leave it on the hook. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull it up. So you got 3, then you put them together as one. And you got your beginning cluster right there. Then chain 3 and do a regular cluster. So chain 3. Because like I said, we chained 1 here, we chained 2 here, and we chained 3 here. That allows it to expand out. Okay, let's do... Now when I first did this, I didn't read the directions exactly, and I made a mistake, but I'll show you what... Oh, I caught the tail. Get that tail out of the way. Okay, I got 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3. And at this point it says chain 3, skip next, chain 2 space, which is right there. Then you do 1 cluster, chain 3 3 times. So if you look here, you got a cluster, chain 3, cluster, chain 3, cluster, all in the same chain 2 space. What that does is it starts going from a circle into more of a square shape. Those extra, that extra cluster in every other one helps you form your square. So let's do 3 clusters. There's 1. This is your first cluster. Then chain 2. Oh, it's actually chain 3, so I need to really watch what I'm doing. So chain 3, that's how you keep it getting bigger and bigger. So we do another cluster. And then we chain 3 and do 1 more cluster because it said to do 3 clusters in the same space. It's a little tight, but the yarn kind of eases as it goes. This particular square takes a little longer because of so much work involved. 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to do a regular cluster. Whoops, I did that in the wrong spot. I was supposed to skip that one and do it in here. So you really got to watch what you're doing because it's so easy to mess up. Let me try again. Skip that one and go into this one because you want to do your clusters inside each of your clusters. We'll try it again. Everybody makes mistakes. That's part of the learning process. And the more of these you do, the less boo-boos you make. Oh, I dropped my stitch. Let me try again. Chain 3. Cluster number 2. Chain 3. Now this is cluster number 3 in the same space. Every other one you have 3 clusters, and every opposing one you only have 2 clusters. So it's 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 all the way around. Chain 2. Okay, now we just did this one. Now, chain 3, and then we're going to do 2 clusters in the next cluster. So chain 3. So we go to the next cluster, skip this one and go to the cluster and do just 2 in this one. So it'll be the same as this one. Okay, this is my first cluster, chain 3, and then we do the second cluster in the same space. I always have to go a little slow at this point to make sure I catch it correctly. Then chain 3, and then this time we're going to put the 3 clusters in the next space. So it's 2, 3, 2, 3, and you do that all the way around. So make sure I skip it this time. And then chain 3, do your next cluster, leaving 1 stitch on your hook. With each one you do. Chain 3, this is your third cluster. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3. Now we're going to continue on around, so it'll be 2, 3, 2, 3, and I'll have 3 here to join up with the 2. And I'll be right back when I get to that point. Okay, I'm on my last set of 3 clusters. So there's the first one, 3 chains, another cluster, chain 3, and the final third cluster, chain 3. I like to chain 2 because you know me, I have that odd one just seems to get me every time. Slip stitch in the top of the chain 3, pull it through. I do a chain up there, trim it, pull it tight. You see, since I only chained 2 instead of 3, they look almost exactly the same. I don't know why, but that's the way it works for me. Now we'll finish this tail off. Turn the work over. Oh, did I get it right? Yep, 3, 2, 3. Go through the back of one of your stitches. And I go through the bottom and then up into the next stitch. One done. Now we'll do the same with the other one. Where's the eye? There it is. Go through the bottom and through the first one. So now you got this tail done. Just gives you a nice finished look, and you can see the square is starting to form. Instead of being a circle, it's more of a odd shape. And now I'm going to grab my 4th color, which would be D. They're not calling it D. For some reason, when they did this, see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here in round 5, see it says join A. Actually, if you don't want to do A, you can do a D there. There's a lot of typos when patterns are done. It's very easy to make a simple mistake. And in that case, you can always write in your book with a pencil and make your correction. So if you want to make it again down the road, you know the answer is D. Or you can go ahead and leave it A and follow what they did here. Entirely up to you. Okay, now it says join D in the first chain 3 space between a 2 cluster group. So it'd be here, not here, through this 2 cluster group. Okay. let's see, chain 3. So I've already got my first chain, 2, 3, 2 doubles in the same space, which is half of the corner being made. They don't want you to make the whole corner on this round. They want you to do half and do the other half later. I don't see why, because here they didn't. They showed the whole thing being done. But we'll see what it works out to. Okay, so we do a cluster. There, then chain 3, chain 2, double crochet, and next chain 3 space. Oh, we're up here. I am so sorry. We're up here on this round. Right? Chain 3 between 2 clusters, which would be right here. Chain 3, 2 double crochets, which is there, in the same space. This is your half corner made. Yeah, so there's your half. This is the other half. Chain 2, double crochet, and next chain 3 space, which is, you see the 2 here, then it's chain 1, single, chain 1, single, chain 1. All right, so now we do 2 doubles in the next space. 1, we're back to regular, we're not doing clusters anymore. Then we chain 1, single inside the first chain 3 of your cluster, chain 1, single crochet in the top of your cluster, chain 1, single crochet in the chain 3 space, chain 1. What that does is it makes it flat across the top. And then 2 double crochets. Oh, that's 1. So used to doing clusters, I wanted to do another cluster. Then chain 2. Actually, chain 3. No, it is chain 2. Getting ahead of myself. The chain 3 is in the corner. Now we're going to do a corner. So we do 2, 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles in the same center of a double cluster. So we do 3 doubles. Chain 3. 3 more doubles in the same space, and that gives us our full corner. Just like we did with all of our other granny squares when we make our corners. Then chain 2, 2 doubles in this spot. 1, 2. Then we chain 1. We do a single in this chain space. Then we do chain 1, single in this cluster, top of the cluster. Chain 1, single in the next space. Chain 1. Actually, chain 2. No, it is chain 1. And then two doubles in the next space. This one's a little bit more confusing. Chain 2. Now we're going to do our next corner. 1. 2, 3. Then we chain 3 because this is our corner. We do another chain 3 in the same spot. Then chain 2, 2 doubles in the next chain 2, 3 space. And then we chain 1. Now we're going to work in the cluster. Chain 1, single. Chain 1, single. Chain 1, double. Then we chain 2, and that gets us to our next corner, where we do 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles. This round's going pretty quick. Then 1, 2, 3, 3 doubles. Since these are just regular double crochets, it definitely goes faster than the clusters. Then chain 2, 2 doubles. Now we're back to the chain 3 cluster. So that's where we chain 1, single in the space, chain 1, single in the next space, chain 1, and then it's 2 doubles, chain 2. Now we're going to do the other half of this corner. So we put 3 double crochets in this corner. Then chain 3. And we're going to do a slip stitch in the top of that chain 3. And a chain 1. Trim, pull tight. There we go. And as you can see, now we've actually formed a square. So let's go ahead and finish off. Then the rest of it is borders. You can stop at this point and just do 1 border. That way it won't be as full. Or you can do all 3 borders. It's entirely, let me turn it around this way. It's entirely up to you how many borders, depending on what size you want it. You also got to consider how many stitches is here, because if you want to join this granny square to another type of granny square, you want to make sure you have the same amount of stitches going across the top, whether it's 22, 25, 29. You have to count to see which ones will work together. Okay, now go through here and through the next loop or next double crochet, pull it tight, and then you trim them off. Okay, that one's done. And now the rest of them are just 3 sets of borders. Now I used yellow next. That's the reason why it got kind of wonky, because the yellow is so much thicker than the rest. So I'm going to skip the yellow this time, and I'm actually going to put orange up here just to make it a little different. Let me grab my orange. Now it says, excuse me, row 6. It says with color B. I'm actually using color A, but it doesn't matter. Chain 1, starting in the same stitch, single crochet in each of the next 3 double crochets. So you're actually starting here. Let me enlarge this a little bit. You're chaining 1, and then you're doing a single crochet in the same space, and then you do a single crochet, single in the next 2 chains, single in the next 2 doubles, 1 single in the next chain, and you just keep repeating it around. Of course, when you get here, they always say do 1 chain, 1 single crochet, 2 chains, and 1 single. When I do 3, I get a point, so I just do 2. It just works better for me. Now, I don't like to start in the corner. For some reason, starting in the corner for me doesn't always lay right. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to do what they say to do. Chain 1. Oh, I didn't finish that right. Let me grab it again. Pull up my loop and go through both. Pull it tight. Chain 1. Now I'm going to do a single crochet in the top of this double. Single crochet in the top of the next double. I'm trying not to catch the tail because I'll weave it in later. Or you can weave it in now if you want, you can. So let me do that. I'll weave it in now. Since you're going to do all the way across, it'll be hidden. It's not like you're going to do here and skip these and do here, because if you wove it through at this point, you would see the orange across the yellow. Here, the orange is going to be behind the orange and it won't show. Okay, I did the 2 doubles on top, 2 singles on top of the double. Now I got 1 chain here. So I do a single in the 1 chain. Single. Oh, I missed the single. This red is hard to see. Okay, single here. And then a single in the top of the single. Single in the chain 1. Single in the single. Single in the chain 1. Now a single in the top of each of these double crochets. 1, 2. Single in each of these 2 chains. 1, 2. Now we got 3 doubles, so we want to single crochet in each of the 3 doubles. That's 1, 2, 3, 1 in the corner, and they want you to chain 3, but I do better if I just chain 2. My chain 2 has a tendency to lay a little nicer. So I do my single. Now I got 3 doubles, so I want to make a single in each of the 3 doubles. Then a single in each of the 2 chains. Not in the chains, but around the chains. You don't have to go through the chains. It's very difficult to go through the chains. So I would just go underneath them. It makes it look nice and even when I do it that way. Okay, so now I got to do the top of the single. Chain 1, top of the single. Chain 1, top of this double. Top of the second double. Around both of the chains in each of these 3 doubles. See how it's very repetitious going all the way around? It gets to the point where you don't even have to look at the pattern because it works so easy. Okay, there's my corner. Top of this double. Top of this double. I think I did a cluster there, but by doing this, it looks like 3, which it is. It's just a little bit different. That was a boo-boo, but you can't really tell it's a boo-boo. Okay, I'm going to pause while I finish going around, and I'll meet you at the other side. Okay, I'm down to the last corner, so it's single, chain 2, single in that corner, then single in each of the 3 doubles. And then slip stitch into the top of your starting chain. Then chain 1, cut your tail, pull it tight. Now you can see I wove this one in, so therefore I don't have to do any more. I can just cut it. Now we'll go ahead and finish off the top of this one. Now the next 2 border rows are exactly alike, it's just using different colors. Go through the top and weave through just like you would do normally. There you go. All right. And now you got that part done. Let me kind of bring it back a little bit. I didn't realize I was up so big, but that gives you that. Now you got to do 2 more rounds of borders. The next border, I think I'll do probably red, and I'll finish it with the blue border. So I would start in any stitch. Like I said, I don't like to start the way they say to do it. So I'll just start, oh, this will work. Start right there. And then chain 1. Okay, you're ready to go. Now you want to do a single crochet in every single crochet around. Sometimes they're a little hard to see, but you want to do 1 single in each one. There's no real counting involved in this one. You just single in the top of every single crochet. I'm almost there, at least to the first corner. You just keep going. I'm just about to this corner. And you do the same thing on the corner. You chain 1, single crochet, chain 2 or 3, whichever works best for you. So I'll do my single, chain 2, single. Now I go around this side into each of the chains. I'm sorry, into each of the singles. There's so many singles in this one, it's easy to get confused. And you just keep going around. And I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, I'm on the final corner. So you do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, then do a single in each of the single crochets across to where you started. See, by starting a little ways away from the corner, it's a little bit easier to finish it off. You can get the needle in. Sometimes that first one's a little tight. Slip stitch, chain 1, trim it, pull tight. And there's round 2. Now you can stop at round 2 or you can do the 3rd round. I'll go ahead and do the 3rd round. Now I found out I did make a mistake. See, it's supposed to be this way where you had the 2, chain 1, single, chain 1, single, chain 1, and 2. When I did my first round, I actually add an extra single crochet right there. So when you do yours, be mindful not to add that extra single crochet like I did, because that just added an extra stitch or 2. Or if you like that idea, then do it around here. Do one here. It looks like I did one here also, but when I got around to here, I didn't do it. So if I had done one there and done one there, I would have repeated it and it would have become pattern. So it's entirely up to you which way you want to do it. I'm going to grab the last color, which is I'm going to do in blue. And it's the exact same thing as we did on the last row. You do your chain 1, and then you single crochet in each single crochet around, and the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in your corners. And you can use any color combination you like. You can go into all the neon colors. You can go into like the colors they use, which is the magentas and the purples. Or you can do it all in one color. It really is entirely up to you which way you want to go. That's the good part about making granny squares. They're your granny squares in your favorite colors. And especially if you're going to wear it, you definitely want it to be the colors you like, or the colors that work best on you. I love yellow, but unfortunately my skin tone does not permit me to wear yellow. So I have yellow in multiple items, but not in what I wear. Okay, so I did my corner, chain 1. I single crochet, chain 1, single. Now you do a single crochet in each of the singles around. I forgot to weave in my tail, but you know how to do that, so I really don't have to show that. Just get it out of my way. It doesn't want to leave. That's another reason why I like to weave my tails in. They don't get in the way that way. They're woven in and they're out of the way. Now if I don't weave it in, I can always weave it in here. Just carry it across the top here, do the same thing. So that would save me weaving in a tail. Okay, let me go around to the other side and I'll show you how I finish. Okay, I'm down to the last little bit, and then this square will be done. This is one of the bigger squares, and if you wanted to make a granny square afghan, you could use these bigger squares and you wouldn't have to make as many, so it would go a little bit quicker. So let me go down to these last couple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I do is I leave the tail, trim my thread. Be careful not to pull that loop out. Let me pull it up a little bit. Okay, same as we did on we've been doing them on all of them. As I have my tail there, let me get that out of your way so you can see. Bring the needle up through the tail or the loop, but don't pull it too tight. You want to have the loop about the same size as all the other loops. Then you come to the front and put it right inside that top loop of, the top V of the next stitch. Pull it across and then go back where you started. And it gives you a nice finish that you can't really tell where you started. And then you need to do your weaving in. So what I would do just to make sure is I hold it with my fingers so it won't go anywhere. Then kind of back up, go through a couple, back up, and go through a couple. There, and that'll hold it in place. And I've already, this one I think was woven. This one I wove in as I crocheted, so I can trim them off. There. And there's your finished product. Let me bring it down a little bit. There. Now with this one, since they have two different border colors, you have two options. You can pick one of the other colors, like maybe the white or the red, and finish them all with white or red, because that would work because you got border colors. Or do the faggoting method that zigzags back and forth like I showed you in the other finishing pattern, which is about 4 patterns back. Well, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. If you like my videos, please subscribe and hit notifications so the next one that comes in, you'll be one of the first to see it. I'd like to thank you again and hope to see you soon.